Hey guys, just so that you're aware, we recorded these top 10 countdowns before Spectacular was released, so our countdowns do not take into account the events of Spectacular. If you would like to see our reaction to Spectacular, you can watch our 3-part Spectacular reaction on our YouTube page. You can also, if you want to hear our in-depth thoughts about Spectacular and what our favorite moments were, you can check out our Spectacular 2 Reactors Summit that is now online on our YouTube channel. And of course, if you're enjoying this on Facebook, go to our channel, Take 3 Productions, on YouTube and hit subscribe and hit the little bell next to it so you're notified of future uploads that we do. Any like and comment helps, so make sure you go to the video, like, comment, and show your support, because we love your support, guys, and it's fantastic. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy these countdowns. These countdowns were fun to record and even funner to edit and make graphics for. And of course, if you have top 10 lists of your own, which I know you do, make sure you comment them down below. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy. Now let's enjoy ourselves. Let's see some good old-fashioned Schmoedown countdown action, and let's rock this sucker. Hey guys, welcome to a very special Schmoedown Reactors Summit, the top 10 series. All through January, while we're on holiday, we're gonna rock this sucker and count down our 10 favorite aspects of the movie trivia Schmoedown. Competitors, matches, moments, and teams. 4 weeks of countdowns. Make sure to comment down below your own top 10 lists. We are interested to see how different your guys' lists are compared to ours. So guys, we're going to go right into this. We are going to be counting down today the top 10 competitors of the movie trivia Schmoedown of all time. First, each of us will be going through our lists 3 at a time. The first wave will be numbers 10, 9, and 8. The second wave will be numbers 7, 6, and 5. The third wave will be numbers 4, 3, and 2. And then the fourth wave will actually be our 2 runners-up that couldn't make the cut onto our lists. And then finally, the 5th wave will be our number 1 picks. Once complete, we will go through all of our lists and conduct a base average top 10 list based on the lists of the entire panel. So, we're going to go through our 10, 9, and 8, and I am actually going to start with Mr. Matthew Kearns. Who are your 10, 9, and 8 numbered competitors, my dear friend?
Okay, so at number 10, I believe he is the only man to compete in all 4 divisions of the Schmoedown. He's one of the guys who helped build the league at Collider, and as we'll find out in a later video, he's one of the reasons why I started watching Schmoedown. John Campea. He is low down on this list just because, sadly, he is retired as of right now, but again, I love Campea's character. He's one of the best we've ever had on the mic, and again, you have to give him credit to be the only person to compete in all of the divisions of the Schmoedown. I mean, that's worth something. Then at number 9, we have a guy who he's competed in really only 2 divisions, and he really only comes to play for 1, but he's one of my favorites, Sam Witwer. When this guy shows up, people take notice. Like Campea, when he's on the mic, it's great. He's one of the best with Star Wars trivia. I'm such a fan of Sam outside of the ring, just seeing him continually come back. I just love it. And then at number 8, I have Mr. Tricky Tom Dagnino. One of, I still say he is the best singles competitor on the mic. When they put a mic in his hand, he's a genius, and he's hilarious. He might not be amazing at movie trivia, but he makes the Schmoedown so much fun. He's that he's that tricky. He's the right type of heel that the Schmoedown needs, that when you hear that music start, you go, something good is gonna happen. So that's my 10 to 8.
Awesome, Matt, and I don't think any of us are surprised that Tom made it onto your countdown in the slightest. Malcolm Lay, who are your 10, 9, and 8, brother?
Yeah, well, my number 10, I've got Sam Witwer. I think he's only missed like a handful of questions in his time, and so that's why I've got him on 10. At 9, I've got Navarro. He's only the second person to hold the Inner Geekdom belt, so I mean, like, I always enjoy seeing him. And then my number 8, I've got Clark Wolf. I mean, he never gives up.
The very, very interesting choices. Hector is a very interesting choice. He's hardly played this year, and he's still champion. He's an amazing competitor. For your 10, 9, and 8, Linus Babcock, let me hear it, my brother.
This list is gonna be controversial.
Oh,
all right.
Really?
So we're starting off at 10, which was Malcolm's 8, the classy one herself, Clark Wolf. Always a delight to see her on screen. She brings such a fun energy, but also a seriousness. She's one of the most genuine faces you ever can see. There's nothing bad about her. She doesn't really get much in the trash talking game, but she always has fun with her entrances, and just someone you can always root for. Number 9, I have Mark Andraco. This guy is fantastic. He's hilarious. I loved it when he called the match. I think it was great. He's getting a lot more into the game, which is great, being in teams now and singles. He might not have a very consistent game way that he plays, but sometimes he's fantastic. Sometimes he's iffy, but when he's fantastic, you see this great competitor that's so fun to watch, so funny, and just got this great charisma that you always want to root for him. And number 8 is someone who might not like me, but I like him. It's Jeff Snyder. He's my favorite member of the Lions Den, the last one you'll see on this list. And I think he's fantastic. He's a heel for sure, but he's always a heel that you can root for, and you see a little bit of good in him. Not that he ever does anything good, but you can just kind of see that there's definitely some good in him. He's fun to watch. He's extremely knowledgeable, and being a tag team champion for as long as he's been is amazing. And just all the stuff he does in the league. He's great at singles and the Lions Den. All his matches are very interesting, and even me, who's not a big Lions Den fan, I sometimes find myself rooting for him, and that's surprising that he can do that with his charisma and the silly toothpick he has. So that's my number 8.
I can't wait to see the rest of your controversial list, Linus. You're probably going to cause us a lot of pain in the future coming up. But anyway,
you invited me.
Chris Doman, your 10, 9, and 8. Let us hear it, my brother.
All right, my number 10 is a controversial pick, because a lot of people, I'm sure, have this competitor higher, and that is Mike Kalinowski.
Nice.
He's a fantastic competitor who he's held his own in singles, in teams, in Inner Geekdom. But the problem is, at least why he's not higher, I want to see him succeed more. If he was succeeding more, I'd have him a lot higher. It's just, sadly, he's just not gotten that kind of luck yet. Number 9, the classy one herself, Clark Wolf. Gosh, she just can't. Again, just like Kalinowski, she can't get that luck. She can't get that lucky break. But I still love her nonetheless. Number 8, Clark, I did this one for you. The Beast, William Bibiani. You are welcome. And look, here's the thing. From his first match, I'm like, damn, this dude knows his stuff. Indeed. From the free-for-all, I thought the same thing. From his match against Mance, it's not the same thing. But he has tendencies, which is why he couldn't get higher on my list. Sorry, bro.
But my number 10 is actually Blofeld's cat number dos. Mark Andraco is number 10. Mark Andraco started out really strong. He's had a rough year. A lot of my favorite competitors seem to have had a rough year this year of all years. And Mark has knowledge. He knows his stuff. He's a great competitor. He even though he's had bad matches, he's been able to carry his team, and I will admit that. He is a strong guy, and he should not be underestimated. At number 9, I have Mr. Jeff Snyder. His personality, his charisma, his toothpick, all in a bow. He is fantastic, and he is part of a team that is undefeated, as we know to this day. Could be outdated because, hey, we are recording this before Spectacular. Spoiler, breaking the fourth wall here. But it doesn't matter. Look, Jeff is a fantastic competitor, and you cannot take that away from him. He might be part of a dickhead team, which I am forced to support because of Robert Meyer Burnett, but he is a fantastic competitor. You cannot take that away from him. And at number 8, I have Mr. Drew McQueenie, the Godfather himself. He has killed it this entire year. Like, yes, he's lost to, who was it, JTE he lost to, right? And he lost to Snyder. But his loss to JTE wasn't even a loss. It was a sudden death match where the first mistake lost the... It was a whoever messed up first. It was kind of like a Super Smash Bros. Kind of melee kind of match. And he has succeeded throughout this entire year, and you cannot take that away from the Godfather. Horse heads included. If you got that reference, I love you. Alright, so now we are going to go into numbers 7, 6, and 5. This is where the meat of our countdowns happen before the midway point. And I am going to start with Malcolm. How about that? Because I am randomly pointing to somebody on the screen. Malcolm Light, I am going to start with you. 7, 6, and 5. Give me that sugar.
Well, my number 7 I've got is Brianne Chandler. I've picked her because I've always enjoyed watching her entrances. And number 6, I've got Mike Kalinowski. At 5, I can't believe I've put a Lion Scene member on here, but he slipped in here. But I've got JTE, and just this year he's defeated Bibiani, McGreeny. Like, he went all the way to through the tournament and only just lost to Sam Levine. So I mean, that I just had to put him on there because, like, he's went from a losing streak to a kind of a very good year. So that's why he's there.
So at number 7, I have Josh McCouga. I've always been one of my favorites since I started watching the Schmoedown. Always a lot of fun. Always a lot of great energy. He's a little low down just because he hasn't been playing a lot recently, minus Wild Berries match, which Wild Berries too. Yeah, McCouga is just so much fun. Number 6, I have one half of the guys who helped build this, the current singles champ, Christian Harloff. He's great at trivia, just great at, he's great on the mic, of course, wrote for the WWE, of course. Just all around awesome dude. And then at number 5, I have the one, the only Rachel the Crusher Cushing. This is a little personal. I knew Rachel, of course, from Schmoeville before she even joined. So, you know, way before Late to the Bard, we got one of our own in there. And just seeing the runs she's been on and just everything she's done, the Schmoedown, you know, look at the Blofeld's Cat versus Nerds Watch match. She's amazing. She's someone that when I know she has a match, I'm always looking forward to. It doesn't matter if it's team, singles, inner geekdom.
My number 7 is the Godfather, Drew McQueenie. The dude is an absolute powerhouse. There are very few gaps in his movie trivia knowledge. I wish I had half the knowledge that dude has when it comes to movie trivia because he's insane. I kind of envy him in a way that I wish I had, you know, half the skill that he has. Because here's the thing. There's some people who are great on a mic, and there's some people who are great at trivia, and he started out being just good at one, but as time has gone on, I think with a little help from his teammate, Sam Levine, that's helped him a little bit. But my number 6, this is the only heel on my list, but damn if he isn't the best. gotta have a toothpick here because it's Jeff Snyder, the In Snyder. I adore this man. I adore him. He is such a passionately, kind of just evil person, though. To be fair, he's from Boston, so that makes sense. But what I also have to give him credit for is the simple fact that he has taken on some of the best, and he's bested them. He took on Drew McWeeny. Everybody said Drew McWeeny was going to win. Beat him. Took him out. Took on Sam Levine. Came down to the last possible question. What? And he would have had it, but he just couldn't pull it. But then he went up against Chris Stuckman, which sadly was an off day for him, but it was still a great fight nonetheless. And hell, a match at Collision with Harloff. Oh my God. That was an amazing fight. And there's a little bit of personal bias in here too, because yes, I was at the Star Wars 5-way, and when I and of course I was as spectacular as you guys are aware, but I got to just sit down with him, and dude's an amazing guy. He knows a lot about films. He's passionate about films, and like I said, he's just such a great character and such a great personality to have in the Schmoedown. My number 5 is one half of the co-creators of this league, Baby Carrots, Mark Ellis. One of the best theme songs ever, one of the best personalities ever. I love his jokes, I love his commentating, but damn, the dude knows his stuff. Like, there are some people I want to get in a fight, I want to get into the ring with, like Snyder, but there's some people I don't ever want to be in a ring with. Ellis is one of them. Because that dude has so much secret knowledge that it scares me. So, Mark Ellis, my number 5.
All right. At number 7, we have someone that when she started off in teams, I thought she was all right. I definitely wasn't top 10 material. But it was the first singles match when she came out as Beatrix Kiddo from Kill Bill that really stuck to me, and that's Brienne Chandler. And ever since then, the heel turn with Jay might not be my favorite, but what he does on the mic, having him as Brienne's advocate is fantastic. What she does in the league, she has great knowledge, and that entrance, the Kill Bill entrance and the Mean Girls entrance against Clark Wolf, both fantastic. She really knows how to play the game. She has the theatrics. It's kind of sad she's on a little bit of a break right now, but she was such a fun character to watch in this league. And, she took it passionately, probably more so than anyone else. She studied, she put the work into it, and she was just the joy to watch. And having that rivalry with Mike Kalinowski, who's another one of my favorites, was really fun to watch too, that little back and forth. So her character, just her in general, I think is great. So she's my number 7. Number 6 is the little vegetable himself, Mark Ellis. Now, if this was last year, 2016, we're making this list, Mark Ellis would probably be in the top 3. But 2017 is not his year. But Free For All, he entered as a carrot, so a full-on carrot costume, so that definitely keeps him on the list for me. Just his wacky entrances, the orange suit, whatever he wears. He brings so much fun to his character, but it kind of seems like he's a little done with competing. He's not as into it. But he's just so fun to watch, his charisma. And Mark Ellis is someone who, you look at him last year, no one expected him to go far in the tournament at all. And he won the thing. He has such a surprise knowledge, charisma, and just an overall fun that not many other competitors have. And number 5 is someone who probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for an entrance either, and that is Scott Mance. If there is anyone with energy in this league, it is Scott Mance. When he came out to Holiday Road against Hal Rudnick, which is a match that everyone hates, I just love that entrance. I love the original Vacation, to seeing him come out to that song, doing the weird dance with the glasses. He is so happy, and Team Trek is just so fun to watch just because of him. He has a pretty bad record, 2-4, which is sad because the dude has incredible knowledge that he should not have that negative of a record at all. but he's so energetic that gets into his gameplay a little bit. But even with that, he's so fun to watch, and I really want to definitely see more of him. So number 5 is Scott Mance.
That's great, Linus. And you know what? I'm going to make you a very, very, very happy person. At number 7 for me is Sam Levine. And yes, only number 7. I hope you're crying. Okay? But look.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. But Sam is actually a very, very good competitor. The thing is, last year, like, he was part of this team called, what was it, Double Jeopardy or something, and they completely bombed. They completely were a dud. They were a complete dud. But he has improved, and he is a contender for Comeback Player of the Year this year. He won the free-for-all. He's doing double shifts at the Spectacular. He is, again, and he beat Bibiani. He beat Bibiani, and the fact that he can beat Bibiani gives me a lot of respect for the man. Sam Levine is the inglorious one for a reason. At number 6 is the commissioner himself, Christian Harloff. Christian made this game. He deserves to be on this list, bar none. He is the champ for a reason. He beat Dan Murrell, and the amount of work he does for this show cannot be underestimated. Christian is, without Christian, none of us would be here. Christian earned his spot, and there's really nothing more to say about Christian Harloff except that he's the kingpin, first and foremost, and he is amazing. And at number 5 is the Crusher, Rachel Cushing. Yes, last month she got betrayed by Ken, and it was a huge controversy, but to the point, she is a triple threat. She knows her stuff, she knows her inner geekdom, and she went one on two against a 2 big person team, Robert Meyer Burnett and Mark Andraco, and she held her own and almost beat them single-handedly. That cannot be underestimated. She is amazing. There is a reason why Jacob Blunden loves her so much, why everybody in the Schmoedown loves her so much. Rachel Cushing is the queen of the Schmoedown, bar none. And now we head to the home stretch. Numbers 4, 3, and 2. Chris Doman, I am going to go back to you. What are your 4, 3, and 2?
My number 4, see, Clark Wolf paved the way for the women to step it up in this league. Rachel Cushing, on the other hand, though, is the bar set for just Schmoedown competitors in general, in my opinion. She is the standard. She is the person who can do it all. She is a threat in her geekdom. She was a threat in teams. Please, for the love of God, Christian, get her a new teammate stat. But she can hold her own with the rest of the people. And she is one of the best, most well-rounded competitors we've seen in this game. However, though, she's also the newest of my top 3. Hence why I'm not quite 100% like I love her. She's amazing. But now I'm going to throw in a little personal bias because my number 3 is the Warrior Sam Witwer. I love this guy. I absolutely love him. Sure, did he make some mistakes? Yes. Did forgetting a certain captain lose him the match at Celebration? Sadly. But then, my God, was it just that same guy that gave him the ultimate redemption? Yeah. And it was amazing. And look, for me, he represents the true heroes of some, here's the thing. He can scare the living crap out of you. But you also know that when he speaks to you, he will do it in a way that's comforting. He's the Jean-Luc Picard of the Schmoedown in that way. Which is why now we're going to go over to the Captain Kirk. in my opinion, the Outlaw, John Roca. Come on. Can you have a more larger-than-life personality? This guy is the reason I'm into the Schmoedown. That Mance Roca 1 match, it instantly is what got me into this game show that I still love to this day. Sure, can't be in Merle. That introduced me. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Mance Roca, though, I have never forgotten his name since, and I will never forget his name. He's also just one of the sweetest guys you'll ever meet. Seriously, if you get the chance to just sit down with him for like even 5 minutes and just talk with him, you can get lost in that conversation you're having. So, yeah, it's John Roca.
My number 4 is Sam Levine. I mean, like, everyone sort of said it, but like Sam Levine, like, since that tag team match with Double Jeopardy, like, he's been on the comeback, like winning the free-for-all, standing toe-to-toe with Daniel and not being knocked out, winning the whole tournament. I mean, all those are great accomplishments, and that's why I've got him at number 4. My number 3 is Rachel the Crusher Cushing. I mean, she's my favourite competitor of all time. I mean, I don't have a number 1 for just because I think the top 2 is slightly better. But I mean, like, Rachel's, like, her entrances are always exciting to watch, and that brings me on to my number 2 pick, which is going to be Matthew Coonsford's probably going to be upset that I didn't put him number 1, but it's Mark Riley, because like, he's the first 2-time champion. He's shown that he's got all this knowledge, and he just doesn't know what to do with all that knowledge, so he just uses it to compete, and that's why I put him at number 2.
Funny we talk about Mark Riley, because at number 4 I have his partner, Classy 1 Clark Wolf.
What a transition. Awesome, Matt.
Listen, Clark Wolf, ever since she joined last season, like Chris said, she paved the way for women, and whenever I see a YouTube video that says Clark Wolf versus whoever, I know I'm in for a good entrance, a good display of trivia. I'm so much fun whenever, like, she's just one of the best heroes we have, one of the best faces, and I'm just always, she's just really classy. And sometimes you just need that in a league full of heels. At number 3, I have a guy who's been one of my favorites for a long time, Mike Kalinowski. Ever since his first match with Ashton Robinson, I was a fan of this guy. I liked his look, I liked his character, and just this whole season, everything he's been doing, just expanding with DC Movie News and Inner Geekdom, you know. He's just a really cool guy, and I like the character he has. And talking about character, the Outlaw John Roca at number 2. You know, Chris talked about it. You know, Mance Roca, just guy, ever since he joined this, just, he's huge. Like, he just has a presence to him, and it's always really fun when he competes, because you know he is having so much fun doing it that it kind of just rubs off, and I just love watching him compete.
That's awesome, Matt. John is an amazing, amazing man. Who also is an amazing man is Linus Babcock. Right here, Linus. I am wanting to hear your 4, your 3, your 2. Give it to me, baby.
Okay. So number 4 is the wild man, Josh McCouga. Just everything he does, he has such a great energy to him. The crazy suits he wears, so much fun. The wild berries are so much fun. You can't help but root for the guy against anything. He is fantastic with all he does. He pulls up upsets nobody says he can do. He pulls out answers no one says he can do. He is the true underdog of the Schmoedown, in my opinion. Just because he'll always be down, and then he'll make a comeback. Now this year, not really. What happened with good old Mike Kalinowski and what happened with Drew McWeeny. I think this new format's not been the best friend of Josh McCouga, but you can't deny what he's done in the league. he was a finalist in the first tournament, a semi-finalist in the second tournament, beating Clark Wolf, and then before that beating JT to get in the tournament, which every time he pulls out an upset like that, there's so much joy in my eyes, in my face. I always cheer for him because you don't think he's going to do it, and then he does it, and it's just so amazing seeing this guy play. Number 3 is someone who I have a personal connection to the league because I helped come up with this guy's nickname. He is so much fun. It's Mike K.O. Kalinowski, and this guy, from the moment he premiered, I'm like, who's this guy? I see him play, and this guy's fantastic. I remember before the whole ATL thing and stuff like that, I'm like, Mike Kalinowski's going to beat McWeenie, and I think I was the only person that ever said that. Like, probably the only person in those polls who voted for him, but I just had so much passion for him. Then he disappeared, and he kind of retooled his character, and he was even better after that retool. He became a genuine face with all the costumes he would come in. It was so much fun with energy and the DC Movement team and the Inner Geekdom matches. Then he went on a 3-game winning streak in the tournament and almost beat JTE, but he had a couple missteps when he got the titles wrong a little. But he's such a great, loving face, and he's a genuine face, no heel in that man. He's so much fun to watch, and I just love him. And number 2 is half of my favorite team, the guy with the best entrance music in the entire league. It's the Godfather, Drew McWeenie. I started a fan page for his team. This guy's fantastic. And I'll be honest, when he premiered and he played Matt Nost, I was not a fan of his. I thought this guy was bland, boring, the sheriff. He didn't really have anything to him. I was a big Matt Nost top 10 fan at the time, so bias might have played into that. But when he changed his name, when he came out to the Godfather theme, I fell in love with that guy. Just the energy he brings, the characters he brings, the gravitas and the intimidation of being the Godfather. He is such a great player, and he has fantastic moments, and he will have the singles belt someday. He's just fantastic. Best entrance music, and he's just such a lovable guy. Like, he came out with the Godfather Funko Pop in that team finale match. He just makes me so happy, and when he laughs when he answers questions, that's how you know how scarily good this guy is.
Amazing. And I'm not surprised in the least that the Godfather is number 2, because we have the originator of, as he said, the linebackers right here, ladies and gentlemen. Linus Babcock.
You came up with that name.
And I did, actually. Fun fact.
You're proud of.
Yep. And I rickrolled them too, which was also amazing. But
which we're not proud of.
Yeah, which you're not proud of.
Which was amazing.
All right. So at number 4 is John Roca, the outlaw himself. John Roca is an amazing competitor. His passion, the stuff that he brings to the Schmoedown cannot be quenched. He also, I think, can be credited as making the Schmoedown what it is today, with the whole Best Spin incident kind of catapulting the whole theatrics of the game itself. At number 3, I have one half of critically acclaimed, the Whitney Seibold. He hasn't debuted in the singles tournament yet, but when he does, he will light everybody on fire. His theatrics in just 2 matches overshadows, and his skill in just 2 matches overshadows almost everybody in the game. I don't care what anybody says. He is amazing. He's the beauty to the beast, and he is somebody that you have to watch out for. Whitney also knows his stuff. I am an avid listener of Cancel Too Soon and a critically acclaimed. And the old Rest in Peace Testicle Spectacles Wild and Watch B-Movies podcast. But look. Whitney knows his stuff. He knows his shit. He knows more than anybody in this game. Even Bibbs, I would assume. And Bibbs knows a lot. And we're going to get to Bibbs soon. But at number 2, I have the former Inner Geekdom champion, who also directed Free Enterprise, a fantastic filmmaker and editor, huge inspiration of mine, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. The only time his name has been uttered in this countdown so far. And look, Robert knows his stuff. He was a champion for a reason. I refuse to admit that any of the Inner Geekdom matches that he lost to existed this year. I want to pretend they didn't happen. I wish he still had the belt. If he played the Movie Trivia Schmoedown app for a short time, he crashed the app because he was that good. So look, Robert Maya Burnett is amazing. His personality, being on the top 10 doesn't just mean you're good at the game. Being on the top 10 also means that you have a lot of stage charisma and you're good on the mic. And nobody here can deny how good Robert Maya Burnett is on the mic. And he had one of the single greatest exit interviews ever when he just literally said,
I don't know who Shelob is? Really? Yeah. Fuck me! Yeah.
And of course, his catchphrase in all capital letters, Navarro, which replaced, sadly, Pestilence, has become an icon of the Movie Trivia Schmoedown game itself. Robert is number 2. Now, before we get into our number 1s, each of us are going to run down our 2 runners up. I'm going to go right to Malcolm over here. Malcolm, before we get to our number 1, who are your 2 runners up?
Well, I mean, I thought I knew who my 2 runners up were, then I heard some names that I can't believe I left off.
Me too.
One of them being John Roker.
Me too.
I mean, I left him off because like he hasn't really had a like this year. Like hasn't really had a stellar year, and I mean the other one I left off, but is I actually did leave off Christian Harloff as well. I mean, it was. I don't know why I left him off. I just can't believe it. That's why I replaced my 2 runners up with those 2.
Well, having Christian and John as your runners up is nothing to be ashamed of, Malcolm. At least they're there in spirit. Linus, who are your 2 runners up?
Well, it's the same as Malcolm. I forgot them too. I forgot Christian Harloff for some reason. I don't know why. I know he's a part of this, but I just forgot him. And then John Roca, there was a mistake. He was supposed to be on my list, but I put Josh McCougar twice instead. It was supposed to be John Roca. So my honorable mentions are John Roca and Christian Harloff.
I cannot wait till Christian sees this and wants to light you on
I
fire.
love you, Chris. I'm going to be removed as an admin on the DS page.
Yep. Again, I just have to quote testicles, spectacles while I didn't watch.
Yep.
And I said testicles and I pointed to my forehead.
I love John Roque. He would have been my favorite last year. I forgot him somehow. No idea how that happened.
May God have mercy on your soul, Linus. Chris Doman. Who are your 2 runners up? And at least these aren't your 2.
Okay. Now, I want to make something perfectly clear. They're runners up because they're retired. They would have both been on my list proper, but I chose to go with only active players. So I took off Mark Riley and Dan Murrell. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. The 2
yeah.
greatest champs that this league has ever had.
When everybody submitted their lists to me, I was surprised Dan Murrell he wasn't on any of them. But it makes sense. He was retired. He is a fantastic competitor. Matt,
he is the best.
He's
like
the best.
Literally, like I'm saying, even though Dan Murrell, and he would have made probably my number 5 or 4, but he is the objectively best player the Schmoedown has ever seen. No question.
The stats are there. The stats are there, and you can't really deny the reality. Matt, who are your 2 runners up out of curiosity?
Jeff Snyder is a guy who I've always liked. Great personality, just, great heel. Like, he just enjoys being a heel. And then my other runner up is Brianne Chandler.
Aww.
I love Brianne. She's great. Again, like, she gets entrances she has. She's always someone who you're always neck curtain pulls in one of her matches. I mean, she also led to one of the single greatest Tom Dagnino moments, which is Brienne punched me in the face once. She punches like a girl. So, you know, I got to give her credit for that, for allowing that. So, yeah, Jeff Snyder and Brienne Chandler.
Well, Matt, you said Brienne. My runner-up is actually her manager, Jay Washington. His skill on the mic cannot be ignored. And on top of that, he beat Robert Meyer Burnett one-on-one. And he has been consistently this entire year been getting better and better and better. The other one, though, is actually JTE. Because as I said before with Sam Levine, JTE beat Bibiani. And you cannot take that away from him. He took advantage
by a TKO.
Yeah, by a TKO. And he took advantage of the game and played the game so well that they had to name a rule after him to kind of fix that because of how manipulative he was of the actual game and its rules, which is smart gameplay. And on top of that, this year he has been on a roll. You cannot deny that. He's undefeated in teams. He's what's his record this season? I don't remember, but it's something astronomical.
Well, he's been in so many matches. It's hard to keep track.
It's hard to keep track. But he is. All I know is that his wins outweigh his losses this year, and there is a reason. He's come far cry from that Cody Miller disaster of a match, which was hilarious and entertaining, but man, that match was sad. Anyway, guys, we are going to get right into our number one picks. These picks are the number one, the uno in your pizzeria, the thing that you're going to go home and say, these guys picked the number one competitors, these are my guys. Or you're going to just give us the bird and say, F you, you guys are idiots. Anyway, it is what it is. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm going to go right to Malcolm once again. Malcolm, who's your number one?
Well, the number one I picked is the one, the only Dan Murrell, simply because he's been the greatest player that ever been. And I mean, yes, I know he's retired. And if I was to make this list next year, then both him and Mark wouldn't have been on it. But there's no way can't say Dan Murrell isn't great, because he is. Like, he always comes in, sits down, like he doesn't focus so much on theatrics and everything, just comes in, sits down, he's ready to play, and that's why he's number one.
Linus, who's your number one?
It is the man himself, the man I was a fan of before the Schmoedown, from a show called Freaks and Geeks, where he was my favorite character. And when the early days of the Schmoedown, when it was announced that he was competing, I freaked out, because I love this guy from Inglourious Bastards, Freaks and Geeks, and he came in and he was dominant in his first match, and then he beat Jeff Snyder in his second match, and then again it was a scenario I was the only person rooting for him against Clark Wolf. It seemed like the only person who had him winning, and yeah, he didn't win that. He lost pretty badly, and then I chose him to win the tournament again, but he lost to Mark Ellis. So my love for Sam Levine in 2016 was a little misplaced, as he had a pretty rough year. He was 2-2 in singles. He had that horrible team loss. But 2017 was the year of Sam. He was my first draft pick in my fantasy league, because I never gave up on him. He's fantastic, and I'm so glad that he was finally proven how good he can be this year. With Above the Line, as soon as that team was formed, I knew that was going to be my favorite team just from the get-go of hearing about it. And that he's had much more opportunities to play this year is fantastic. And sure, he started off 0-2, but that was to Mark Riley in an extremely close match. And Dan Murrell he lost to, who played the best match of his entire life against Sam Levine, where he had a perfect round and almost was perfect that entire match. So Sam really couldn't do anything but answer questions himself, and he took Dan farther than both Roca and Riley did on that same show, points-wise at least, and that was fantastic. And then the team tournament came around. My favorite team debuted. They were so much fun, a great energy together. Sam on the mic, he's fantastic. He's hilarious. He beat Bibiani. He won 2 tournaments in 1 year, which is fantastic. You guys knew I was ecstatic. I was so happy. seeing that. And Spectacular isn't out yet, so we don't know what happened there, but hoping the best for my boy. And 3 event winners in 1 year. Fantastic personality. He's hilarious, and he's such like a happy guy, or this little happy guy with a ton of knowledge in this league, and he's definitely my favorite for sure.
Exactly.
Sam.
As I said, I have nothing but respect for Sam. Regardless who he bit, everybody should have respect for him. He's doing double duty at Spectacular for 2 belts. So there's a lot to be given with him. Matthew Kearns, here it comes. Here it comes. Do I even need to ask you who your number 1 is?
Everyone's Mark Riley. He's been my favorite kind of since I started watching the Schmoedown. Last season, I went back and I watched every match from 2014, 2015. He's one of the few faces that never dabbled into being a heel. He was the first champion we were at, the first 2-time champion. He still holds the record for back-to-back wins. Was a steal. I love him. On just an all-around, generally cool guy. He always has great entrances, and he's on break right now, but when he returns, everyone's going to pay attention because it's Mark Riley. Pretty much all I have to say.
Mark Riley.
And he is one hell of a guy to talk to.
He really
yeah, I know.
is.
I got to interview him.
And technically can-ish.
Yeah, technically-ish.
Technically.
So luck is a big part of it, but you also have to be used to the game in the way that, the lights can actually do something for you. This guy has something to say. What do you want to say about what does it take to get through the tournament in the Ultimate movie? Will? Perseverance. Killer instinct. What he said. And
luck.
And thank you. That's where I started.
Well, Chris, here comes the biggie. Who's your number uno?
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. Back when this channel first started, and we had our own little trivia league, we had a lot of fun with it. I didn't call myself the unofficial Knapsack. I didn't call myself the unofficial Campia. And you know what? I still am. I am the unofficial Harloff, goddammit, because Christian Harloff is my single favorite Schmoedown competitor of all time. And can you blame me? Can you blame me? This year, he was perfect. Aside from the fact that this is the guy who created everything. He is one of the best competitors we've ever seen. He's one of the few people to have held both titles, singles and teams. And without him, without that brain of his that's constantly working, that's constantly moving 100 miles an hour to trying to create brand new stories, set up brand new rivalries and teams and whatever else, without Christian, you don't have the Schmoedown. And without the Schmoedown, you don't have Take 3 Productions. Honestly, you don't. So, and again, I'm saying this as an obsessive fanboy who caught on way too hard to this seemingly stupid trivia game. And without Christian and Mark, you don't get William Bibiani. You don't get Mark Riley. You don't get Sam Levine. You don't get Dan Merle. You don't get all of our number ones. You don't get all of our favorite matches and moments and teams and singles competitors. It's just... And I've said this to him, and I'm in person, and I'll say it once again. But Christian, your show kind of changed my life because look at where I am now. I run this madhouse, and it's thanks to you. Thank you.
Amen. I have to follow that up, but I have to follow it up.
But if anyone can follow it up, talking about...
As I say, if anyone follow up, it's you, Clark. Oh.
All right. Well, I will give you one guess who my number 1 is. Look, I said this is the top 10 Schmoedown competitors. It doesn't say anything about whether it's top 10 skill, top 10 characters or top 10 people that are your favorites. The person that will always be my favorite in the Schmoedown, my number 1 is William the Beast Bibbiani. How many of you here are surprised by that? Zippo, Goose, nada, nobody. Bibbs is a fantastic guy. Yeah, he's had a rough year overall, but he's had great victories. He's also had great losses because he's human. Thing is, Bibbs' debut match hooked me. I was like, this guy is awesome. And then I went and I listened to Cancel Too Soon and got really hooked on that. And I've been a supporter of Cancel Too Soon and the B-Movies podcast again, may it rest in peace, since then. That's November of last year. Bibbs is a fantastic guy. I've had the pleasure of actually interviewing him 2 times. One for over like 40 minutes, another was really quick before our actual 2-hour live show, which to this day is one of our favorite live shows, period.
Yes.
It is. And he has a great stage personality. His entrances are always great, but he also brings a lot of energy to this game and how much he loves this game. And he gets a lot of flack. Now, next year, when he does become champion and become a comeback player of the year and critically acclaimed, sweep everything, everybody's going to be trying to say sorry to me for doubting.
I won't.
Yeah.
I won't.
Because it won't happen.
I cannot wait until this time next year where everybody is in their mindset with this game. I cannot wait to see where and how Bibbs does next year. But this year, in this present time, he is still and always going to be number 1. If he wasn't my number 1, I feel like it wouldn't have felt right. He had to have been my number 1. Nobody else could have done it, regardless of his win-loss ratio. Alright guys, this is the last portion of the show. The overall ranking of our top 10 favorite movie trivia Schmoedown competitors of all time in the year of what it is right now, 2018 in January. Now guys, this is a cumulative. So if these guys ranked a competitor at 1, they got 10 points. If the competitor was ranked all the way at the bottom at 10, they got 1 point. And I did the math. Oh my god, I did the math. And I came up with, when you take everything in total, what everything came out to, this is the average of everybody's scores, and what our entire average top 10 is really, really, really ridiculous. Okay, so let me just break this down for you. At number 10, with 12 points in total, is Mr. Mark Ellis. Baby Carrots himself got 12 points from all of us combined. At 9 is a 2-way tie with 13 points, 10 of which came from me putting him at number 1. Thank you guys. Anyway, it's Bibbs, William Bibbiani, and Josh McCouga at number 9 with 13 points. At number 8, we ranked with 15 points in total, the classy one, Miss Clark Wolf. It's really fitting because at number 7, right after her, is her partner in crime, Wolves of Steel, with 18 points, Mr. Mark Yodi Riley himself. With 19 horse heads in the bed is the Godfather himself, 19 points in total, Mr. Drew McQueenie at number 6. And here's the top 5. This is really, really interesting. With 20 points in total from all of us is Mr. Christian Harloff, the commissioner himself. That's not surprising in the least. And beating him by 1 point with 21 points in the 4th place spot is Mr. Spectacular himself, Sam Levine, the Inglorious One, with 21 points, beating Harloff by 1 point. Now this one is really surprising because I underestimated how many people had this sucker on their list, and he's an amazing guy, but I didn't expect him to be all the way at number 3 with the average. Mike Kalinowski with 22 points beating both Sam Levine and Christian Harloff. Wow. And then the top 2. And it's funny because number 2, 2 people forgot to put him on their damn list, and he still got number 2 with 25 points. The outlaw John Roca got 25 points in total with us, landing himself at number 2. And at number 1 was a no-brainer. Every single person had her on their list with 27 points. She crushed it, beating the second place person by 2 and the third place person by 5. Miss Rachel Cushing herself. She's number 1. So let me go down this one more time. Take 3's official.
I didn't technically have her.
Oh, you didn't technically have her. Of course you didn't, Linus, and she still beat everybody. See, I made a mistake because I'm dumb. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Anyway.
My bad, Rachel.
It's all good. It's all good. Rachel was an amazing, amazing competitor.
She's top 10 material for sure, just not there yet for me.
It's all good. 4 out of 5 people had her on the list. It's still a record. I think that's more than anybody else. So, at number 10 is Mark Ellis. At number 9 is Bibbs and Makuga tied. At number 8 is Clark Wolf. At number 7 is Riley. At number 6 is Drew McQueenie. 5 is Christian Harloff. 4 is Sam Levine. 3 is Mike Kalinowski. 2 is John Roca, and 1 is Miss Rachel Cushing. Yeah. Anyway, guys, that does it for the special Schmoedown Reactor Summit of Take 3 Productions, the Top 10 series. I am going to say thank you to all my guests. Malcolm, where can the good people find you online?
They can find me hiding from John Roca and Christian Harloff. But you can find me all over on various other Take 3 videos and all over the place on the Worldwide Movie Trivia Games Network.
Okay, cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Rockstar, rockstar, rockstar. Linus Babcock, where can the good people find you online? Our very special guest.
Well, after being a dumbass and forgetting Christian Harloff and John Roca from my list, you can find me at the Linus Babcock on Twitter or at Frank's Lunchables. I have 2 Twitters. It's just what happens, okay? You can find me on Movie Battleground, as I might be competing for the title or I might not be. I don't know. See what happens. And I'm a host there too. And yeah, I'm an admin on the MTS page, so you can see me there. And I've been popping up from time to time on some videos here. So thanks for having me again. And I'm sorry to Christian Harloff and John Roca. Should have made my list. I wrote John Roca twice, and one of them was supposed to be John Roca.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Matthew Kearns, where can the good people find you online, my man?
You guys, as always, can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, MattMovie611 on YouTube, and I host a movie fandom show here. Take 3.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Chris Doman, where can the good people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter at my band Last Shot Redemption at LSARBandMN. You guys can follow Take 3 Productions on Twitter and Instagram at Take 3 Trivia. You guys can follow the Worldwide Movie Games Network on Twitter at WWMGN Take 3. And of course, you can find me hopping in between 2 channels, either hosting matches or right over here hosting Nights of the Podcast. And you can find me on Letterboxd and Stardust at Chris Take 3.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ChrisCluck8788. Those numbers mean nothing. You can also find me here on Take 3 hosting Suddenly Soundtracks, the weekly show where we dissect a movie musical song by song and judge a movie solely based on the soundtrack that it provides. You can also find me either Friday or Saturday night, whenever time we figure out, because it's always a disaster on family game night. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. Or you can find me on YouTube at No Man's Land Entertainment. You can also find that blank video right there at the blank video 8788 on Discord. Anyway, guys.
My God, Clark.
Yeah, I can't believe I did that. Right at the end of this video, destroying everything that I hold dear. And be sure to check out our future countdowns coming out every Tuesday this month in January. And the day before, be sure to join the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook page, where these will be pinned and posted each week before the YouTube release. Anyway, guys, keep rocking, Take care, and may your rock and roll dreams come through. Bada bing, bada boom.